16? Yeah, I'm in there as well.
Okay. I think this is... Yeah, gotta turn mine up a bit. We
How do you
good.
add people as moderators?
They have to have an account, and if I know them personally and I know they know the rules, I can upgrade them as long as they're logged into their live stream account.
Oh, okay.
I
I was
better
wondering how that worked.
turn the music off. Hello!
No.
Oh, there's 30 of you beautiful people in here. Okay.
Oh, look at all
Basically...
those people. And all that dick.
We'll probably... We'll probably start in about 5 minutes, but, while you guys are here, we'll explain what this is. Basically, the last time this happened, it was basically me in character as the Doctor, or Dissy, or in this case, Mr. Smith, but, you know, whatever. If there's a slip-up of calling him Doctor, then that's fine. We'll just assume that he asked to be on that name. He's just, I'm more comfortable being called that. So.
I thought it was Time Turner, not...
Or Time Turner, yeah. Either way, I'm pretty sure after a while he just kind of, just say Doctor, whatever. I that's my nickname, that's what everybody calls me. It's just sort of a... But anyway,
Peppa.
No.
Yes.
Oh man, there's 41 people in here. I always like how people are interested in his psychology. Anyway, basically, last time, you know, he was asked some of the basic stuff, which is, you know, look at some ink blots, as some people like to, yeah. So look at some ink blots, look at these pictures and make a story about it, and you know, answering some basic stuff and some minimal questioning at the end, and. As a deal, he basically said, okay, can I take this chair or this couch? And as you can see in his blog, he has that couch instead of his other red couch, which was getting old. So he has that couch, and the condition was that if he took the couch, he'd have to come back for a therapy session. So this would be him coming back for a therapy session.
And we're just kind of gonna go over his results and talk a little bit, and then, you know, depending on his answers, we'll elaborate on his responses, and I'll write down what he says.
And you should be a mod now.
Oh, this power! This power!
Yeah, and, you know, if anybody misses this, we'll just put it on YouTube.
Yes, and I've also been using the YouTubes. I want to use the YouTube for notes later on if I don't get... Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yes.
So, well, I mean, I'm pretty much ready, if you're ready.
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming back, Time Turner.
You can just call me Doctor, actually.
Yep. What are you a doctor of?
Various things.
Interesting. Alright, if you don't mind, you may have a seat. I hope you enjoy the new couch.
Oh, yes, very much.
Okay. All we're really gonna go over today is I'm gonna look through some of the answers you gave us during the last session, and there were some reactions and some responses that you made that I was very much interested in. And I would like to go over those with you, if you don't mind.
Well, I'm here, aren't I?
Is
Basically...
that all I smell?
Yeah, I've been drinking here and there. Not drunk now, I've just been drinking here and there.
Are you sober?
Yeah.
Okay, because substances could affect the results of the test, so
No, I
must ask. Okay, alright. I'm going to look through here and see what we got. You know, during our last chat, you seemed to be very hazy on the time, what day of the week it was.
Oh, I've got that now. It's basically New Year's.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I mean, who wouldn't reek of
Happy
alcohol
New Year,
after...
by the way.
Yes, Happy New Year. Who wouldn't reek of alcohol after New Year's, really?
Anyways, let's see what we have here. You did very excellently on the recall. Very good. I skipped the question of the sevens, but understandable. Let's see. Your responses to some of my ink blots were very interesting, and I would like to go over a few of those with you.
All right.
Some of these were just first for me as a psychologist. So, like sea creatures having a party under the Eiffel Tower. Very interesting. Very creative.
I'll try.
Okay. During one of them, you mentioned an old woman sitting on her shame. I want to ask you, does this have any sort of personal resonance with you?
Well, yeah, I suppose it would. I've been through a lot, have a lot I might regret. You sit on it, I guess. It's easier than looking at it.
Sooner or later, we do have to face our issues in order to properly get over them.
Yeah, but it takes time.
Of course. What if I ask you, what are you ashamed of?
It's a bit broad.
Well, certainly some examples stand out a bit more prolifically than others.
I guess I could say sometimes I've done things impulsively that I can't really change once they've happened.
Like what, for instance?
Anger issues, I suppose.
Anger?
I get a short temper.
Have you ever lashed out at anyone violently? I can assure you that all of your responses will be kept in the strictest of confidence.
Yes. Sometimes.
So this has happened multiple times?
Yes, it has.
Just a reminder, if you feel uncomfortable answering any questions, you have every right to refuse to answer. But as a psychologist, it would definitely help if you were upfront and honest. Now, is this an often occurring event?
No. Well, increasingly as of late, but...
What makes you angry?
Just... expectations, I suppose, is the best way to explain it.
Do you get angry at people when they let you down?
Yes. Or when they expect me to do things that maybe I'm not comfortable with or not really capable of anymore. See, I don't know how to explain this. I really don't like violence. I don't. I'm pacifist as they come. At least I try. But, well, I guess that just... it's not happening anymore.
Well, as a psychologist, I must say that you're very correct. No one should expect more from you than you're willing to give. But a violent response is a bit excessive for the situation.
I don't know, I just...
Can you elaborate on such an event?
It's just... something happens to make me upset, and I don't know, I can't control myself. It just comes out, and it's like a haze.
Can you control your anger?
I try, but it gets harder. I used to have, in the past, companions who would help me keep it under control, but I started lashing out at them too, and I just don't want to be around anyone anymore.
But you know this is a very unhealthy means of problem solving, correct?
Of course I know that.
No disrespect to your intelligence as a doctor.
But it's just hard when I know that, but I do it anyways and try to justify it as best as I can. I tell myself I was defending myself. I tell myself they deserved it. I don't know. I don't know what to think is correct anymore.
Are you in control when these situations occur?
I don't know.
What happens? What do you remember?
I just feel like something is taking over my mind, and I don't think, I just act, and by the time it's all over I just feel tired, and I don't...
Do you regret?
On some occasions.
Some occasions?
Other times I try to tell myself it wasn't my fault.
Even then, do you feel regret?
I think I'm starting to.
To be honest, that's exactly the answer I was looking for. If you didn't feel regret, that would be most dangerous.
I'm afraid of the day I might stop regretting.
Apart from your rage, would you say that you're in control of your life?
Sorry. I don't really know how to answer that.
Would you like to hold that off for another session?
Well, it's I have some control. Sometimes I think I'm free, other times feels like there's walls around me all the time. I don't know.
Walls around you?
Yeah.
I see.
Just closing. I don't know. It's... there's things I can't remember. It's like I do something and I know it was me, but at the same time I don't know who it is.
When these situations occur, Doctor, do you recall them happening? Are you experiencing these things happening?
I don't know how to explain it. It's... let me think. I remember them. I remember them, but I can't understand why.
Would you say that you are a prisoner in your own body in these instances?
I suppose that's the best way to explain it. But I don't know which one's the prisoner.
And these are very important responses, and I appreciate your cooperation.
It's like, I don't know if the prisoner is the pacifist or if the prisoner's the monster. I don't know who's holding who back anymore.
Why do you identify as these two individuals, a pacifist and this monster?
Yes, that's what it feels like. I don't...
Do you consider yourself a whole person?
I consider myself shattered. Not really two or one, just shattered.
Fragments of a whole?
Possibly fragments of a whole, multitudes of a whole. I feel it. Well, I've lived a lot of lives.
I see. Let's go over some of your other responses. There was one particular response. You said, a butterfly that wasn't sure which way it wants to go. Which is very interesting to me because a butterfly is something beautiful, something has a certain charm about it. But why isn't it sure which way it wants to go?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to tell which way you're going when you have two heads.
Do you know where you're going, Doctor?
I'm afraid to answer that. It's like I know, but I don't know. I don't want to know.
You know the future isn't set in stone.
No, of course not. Unless it's fixed, but that's a different story. Mine isn't. I know.
Not a very healthy way to look at it. The future can be changed.
Well, yes, it can.
You are in control of your own destiny.
Am I?
You are if you're willing to take control.
Well, I'm trying.
Of course. I see there was another one. You said, Phoenix is rising out of smoke and lava. Phoenix is a symbol of rebirth. I believe that, in this instance, you're going through some form of a trial. And through it you might be reborn.
It might sound strange, but that's kind of how I live. Constantly.
Do you mind explaining?
Well, you know, you live a long time and you decide to start anew, and I've done that a lot.
Nothing wrong with a new beginning.
Sometimes. But problem is, with a new beginning, you never quite know what you're going to get.
Excuse me. You did also have some very intriguing responses to the thematic apperception test. Which, if you remember, I showed you a few pictures and I asked you to make up a story.
Yeah.
Go through. I need to find out which one of these was the proper picture I wanted to discuss. Oh yes. The third and final picture I showed you. An old man and a woman laying on a bed.
Yes.
You said that it was a grandfather saying goodbye to his granddaughter. That she had passed away.
I remember that.
And you said that you often deal with death. Upon me asking.
I do.
Does this have any connection with you being a doctor?
You might say that.
Do you help people in your position?
I did.
You did?
I'd like to consider myself retired. Still, the name's nice.
Okay. You know, sometimes a doctor, they make mistakes. And they can carry those mistakes with them for a long time.
Oh, I know that.
Do you carry a lot of burden associated with your job?
Oh, all the time. It's one of the reasons I retired. You just get tired, and everyone expects you to keep through to it and constantly help, and when you can't help, you're the one they blame.
Of course. Typically, someone in a service position, such as your former occupation, a lot of people come to take such responsibilities for granted.
Yes, they do.
Are you upset when these people expect these things from you, even though you're retired?
Very. That's part of my anger issue, I suppose.
I pardon if it seems like I'm asking some rather basic questions, but I'm trying to get a full profile here.
I understand.
Is your job a major stressor in your life?
It got to a point where it felt like that was just the only purpose of my life, was my work as a doctor.
What kind of doctor were you, if you don't mind my asking?
A lot of things. Just, you might say historian, helper of others, sometimes archaeological study, professors. I do a lot. I dabble in a lot of things.
Okay. You might have noticed I did ask you that question twice. And it was good you answered the same way both times, which is a good sign. Jordan, I'm just going to look over my notes a little bit more. Now, someone in your position who, as you said, deals with death on a regular basis. Are these people close to you?
Sometimes.
Do you allow yourself to get personally vested in your job?
Quite a lot. As I said, I sometimes had companions with me to sort of keep me in line, I suppose. Keep me company.
Why would they need to keep you in line?
With a job like mine, you get lonely. Sometimes you get angry, and sometimes it's hard to not do things you're going to regret. But you find somebody who's brilliant and a lot more stable than yourself, and they point out the things you don't realize. They tell you this is what happens when you're alone. They tell you this has gone too far, or don't do that. But, well, it's harder to keep them around because they can't stick around. They're not mine to keep.
Are you happy, Doctor?
I'm, well, trying to figure that out.
How do you feel?
I wouldn't say I'm particularly happy. Fine. Sure. Happy. No, I haven't been happy in a long time.
I apologize, I keep smelling this. The smell of alcohol is rather strong. Do you drink often?
Well, yeah, I do.
When has this begun?
Well, I've been drinking for a while. Probably about at least a year ago. Maybe a year and a half. I don't really remember. I just started and... well, I have my own bar, so... a lot of mixes for myself. I admit I've been indulging a bit more as of late.
Is this a habit that you wish to quit?
Nah. It's not hurting anyone.
Is there anyone that stays with you?
Well, yes. Yes, I do. I do have someone. So.
This someone, how have they reacted to your drinking?
Honestly, she's the reason I have this haircut. And, well, she doesn't talk much, but she has been pretty rude lately.
Is this a response to your drinking?
More my messes, I think.
Are you usually a messy person?
It's on and off.
The reason being is that I'm curious how your drinking has been affecting this person. How do you think that it's been affecting them?
I just think she's irritated.
Have you asked?
Alright, I can't really ask. She's mute.
Well, certainly there's some means of communication between you.
A little. She She's been trying to clean me up, I guess. I don't know.
The reason I'm asking these questions is because I want to understand the extent of your drinking habits. How much do you drink in a day, usually?
Well, let me think. Bottles. I don't know. I lose track. Bottles. Just bottle. I lose track. I completely lose track. I don't really care.
Not glasses, but bottles.
Yeah, it started with glasses, but I got tired of pouring it over and over myself, so bottles. Well, unless I make a mix, but oftentimes after a couple of mixed drinks, I don't care, and I just... the wrath.
When you say... I apologize. You say bottles per day.
Yes.
Doctor, that's rather excessive.
But I have a lot more tolerance than most would have.
I wouldn't call that so much tolerance, so much as alcohol poisoning.
Well, I'm still alive, aren't I?
It's not my job to pass judgment, but from the information that you just told me, I'm very much worried about your health.
Well, let me explain. Alcohol sort of goes through me pretty quickly. It, you know, if I've had a bottle, I can sober up in maybe an hour. I mean, I still get a hangover, but...
You know, in my position, I've heard with association to substance abuse, I've heard many statements similar to what you're describing.
I really wouldn't call it abuse. It's just, you know, having a drink.
Who is this person that is staying with you?
She's, my caretaker of sorts, I suppose.
Okay. Now, one, as a psychologist, I could easily state that drinking bottles, plural, during a day would be considered an abnormal behavior, at least in social norms. Does drinking this much hurt you?
I think it does the opposite.
Of course. Your caretaker, does this hurt her?
I don't know. She's too busy whacking me with a broom for me to tell. Sorry. Like I said, it just annoys her.
Well, I mean, if there's a violent reaction from her, I would imagine that there is some issue there. That it is harming her in some way.
Alright, yes, it probably is frustrating and painful for her to look at, but I don't know what else to do.
The reason I'm asking these questions is because this meets the criteria for medically abnormal behavior.
I'm pretty sure I have a lot of that.
Now, I apologize if I came off as antagonizing, but my responsibilities as a doctor is to worry about your health, and the reason I ask about your companions is the criteria set in line for me that I can determine what is abnormal.
Alright.
I cannot tell you to quit drinking.
I know. I know.
All I'm asking is that when you go back, perhaps it would be a good idea to speak with your caretaker and see how this drinking affects her.
I'll see what I can do, but I really don't know what else to do. I really don't.
Have you thought about going on vacation?
I'm practically on one.
Where do you stay?
Well, at the moment I found a nice, secluded area. Nice view of the stars. You know, no one around for miles.
That sounds like an excellent vacation spot. Very interesting. You seem to be very fidgety.
Oh, sorry.
A lot on your mind?
Yeah, it's just... I just... I'm fine. Just...
What are you thinking about?
What else to do? I do want a drink right now. I admit I do want one right now. I don't want to... I'd be a lot more clear-headed. It's just a big mess.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I'm wondering... if you don't mind, when you speak with your caretaker, I would like for you to begin documenting your intake of alcohol.
I'll try.
You don't have to share this information with me, this is purely personal, but maybe this will give you an idea of how much you've been drinking.
I'd give you a count if she didn't keep sweeping the bottles.
Where do you get these bottles from?
I have a bar. I'm an avid collector. I have some pretty rare collections. Yeah, I just recently had a 60-year royal salute.
Oh, that's very expensive, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
And take it that your job as the doctor must have paid very well.
Definitely.
I might have to switch occupations.
I wouldn't recommend it. It really, really drains.
Oh, of course, of course. So, there's one little exercise I would like to perform with you. It's a very simple one. All I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you a few words. These words are not written down, they're made up on the spot. And I would like for you to say the first word that comes to mind when I say these words.
Ooh, I'm familiar with this one. Okay.
Okay. So, bear with me, I'm thinking. Hard to really go in a direction that I want. Alone.
Wow, that was a blank. The word blank. I don't know.
Okay. Just, once again, there are no wrong answers, and just
No, I'm
the best word
baffled
that
as
comes
to why blank would... whatever.
Home.
TARDIS.
TARDIS.
TARDIS. Sorry, it's...
That's an abbreviation?
Yes, that's what my home is called.
What does it stand for?
I forgot. Just, my...
That's fine.
One of my relatives named it.
Okay. Apple.
Rubbish.
Control.
Rope.
Restraint.
I heard like 20 words at the same time and they didn't make any sense.
So nothing?
I don't know. How do I say 20 words that came out at the same time that don't make sense? I had cow, rodeo, now I can't remember.
I'll just write those two down. That's fine.
Okay.
Comfort.
Purple.
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 Purple. Sight.
Eyes.
Future.
Time.
Time.
What? Yes. Oh, the word the word
time.
Wibbly.
Interesting. I believe that would be that's satisfactory. Some very interesting responses.
Sorry,
There's nothing to apologize for.
I don't know, I just felt like I was completely off track on that.
No. Every result is a result. There's no such thing as failure.
I'm fairly sure I'm the only one who has cow as a result.
You'd be surprised, Doctor.
Oh, alright.
I would say that I'm out of questions to ask. Is there anything that you wish to ask, or anything you wish to share? Was there anything on your mind when you came in today?
Does it look bad?
What?
Sorry. Does it look bad?
Does what look bad?
Me.
Are you afraid of the answer?
Well, yes, but... I mean, I'm here for a reason, aren't I?
That reason is purely up to you.
I don't...
Doctor?
It feels wrong. I don't know.
Does what feel wrong?
Everything just feels wrong. I just want to know if it's alright.
Doctor, you look tired.
I am. Oh, God, I am.
If I had to say anything based on what I see in front of me, I would say you need a break.
I'm trying. I just don't know where to start.
Start with yourself. The only person that can grant you solace is if you're willing to let yourself attain it.
Well, I'm not doing the right things for myself. Everything I try just goes the wrong way.
How so?
The violence, the alcohol, the gratuitous sex. Everything. It just doesn't work.
Gratuitous sex?
For a long time, I don't know. I lost control. Everything I try, I lose control of it. And I don't know what to do.
Typically someone who does these things has a lot of intercourse or abuses or drinks alcohol. It's usually an attempt to fill some sort of void or retain a certain stimulus that you no longer receive. What is that for you?
That's why, if I knew, I wouldn't be trying to fill it up.
Well, what don't you have now that you used to have?
Myself.
What do you mean?
I just don't know who I am anymore. I don't know who I'm supposed to be.
If I can give you some words of advice, Doctor. You're right here. I'm sitting in my office, on my couch. And at the end of the day, you are who you choose to be. No one can tell you different.
Maybe.
No. I've been working in this particular occupation for many years. There have been hundreds of people who've sat on a couch much like you're sitting on, and telling me that they've lost control, that they don't know where they're going, don't know where they'll end up, and they're afraid of what they might do. They're afraid of where they will take themselves. But throughout treatment, they've learned that they are the ones who decide their own fate. You have to be willing to make those choices yourself, to take control. You can't play passenger to your own life. You can't let life decide where you want it to go.
Oh.
If this is control that you want, if you want structure, if you want to find yourself, you have to do it yourself. No one can find you but you.
Well, what if there's a side of me that's wants a completely opposite of... I don't know where I was going with that. It feels like I'm fighting with myself on who I want to be. And I don't know who should have control.
We are many different sides to a personality. We have desires, expectations that pull against each other. But they're all pieces to a whole.
I just don't know how I can feel like I'm on top of the world, yet I'm being dragged around on a collar and leash at the same time.
If that's the way you feel, then who's pulling the leash? Is it you?
I don't know.
Answer that question for me, Doctor. At some point, I want you to be able to answer that question.
I'll see what I can do.
After all, isn't that really the answer?
I guess so.
Now, If you truly don't feel like you're in control of your life, no matter how hard you try, there are a few things I would like to perform. Are you familiar with hypnosis?
Well, yes.
Would you consider yourself susceptible to hypnosis?
I would have told you no in the past, but I don't know right now.
Well, there's no shame in that.
I don't... I think the word scares me, but I think I would probably be at this point.
The reason being is that I am trained to hypnotize people. I would like to clear up a few things about hypnosis.
Okay.
It's a procedure that I use so that I can speak to somebody with lower inhibitions, lower self-defense. Usually I can get a pretty straightforward answer, especially from somebody who is very, very secretive. The reason I say that all hypnosis is self-hypnosis is because nobody can hypnotize you but you. If you do not want to be hypnotized, you will not be hypnotized.
Alright. Well, that seems like a pretty serious thing.
Oh, I can assure you, it's not. It's fairly common.
Well, I'll think on that.
The reason being is, if you wish, next time you come to my office, we can sit down and perhaps we can do a little bit of hypnosis and maybe be able to get some answers that maybe you weren't even aware of.
That does sound like something that might be beneficial.
You ever heard of someone named Sigmund Freud?
Oh, you can't be serious. Yes, I have.
He theorized that there are 3 different layers to the conscious. There is the id, the ego, and the superego. You are, the person that you are right now is the ego. The id is your base instincts. It is, in terms of simplifying the statement, the id is very rash. It's very straightforward. There's no hesitation. It's purely base instincts. It's an animal. While the superego is basically your conscience. It's all of your inhibition, your regulation. So when somebody is hypnotized, I would, in theory, be speaking to your ego, or your superego and your id. Or, in non-Freudian terms, I would be speaking to your subconscious.
Right. Sorry.
So if that interests you, I would be more happy then to perform.
I suppose I'll give it a go, see where it's gone. Good old hypnosis.
Okay. Now, of course, if you don't prove to not be susceptible to hypnosis, then we will, of course, there's nothing I can do at that point. Without training you on becoming hypnotized, of course.
Well,
But
we'll just have to see.
is there anything else you wanted to ask?
I think this was enough.
Well, thank you very much. And I would hope to see you for another session whenever you're comfortable. And before you leave, one more thing, Doctor.
Yes.
Get some rest.
I'll do my best.
Thank you very much. You have a pleasant New Year.
You as well. And session over.
That was fun.
Yep, hold on. I'm gonna end the stream really quick and come back in so that we'll have discussion, just so it'll have a separate video. So, we'll be right back, guys.